Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. We're back with the series Road to FM. As you probably know, in this series I feature games that I play over the board, I analyze them and track my progress while becoming an FM. So this game was played this last Sunday. It was a seniors league. To specify, it was third seniors league in Croatia, and I played fourth board. So actually, before these games, I said to my captain that I want to be pushed upwards, so I will face stronger opponents, and that's exactly what happened. As you can see, this guy is 2000, I mean almost 2000 international rating, and that is pretty strong. So I was kind of nervous, but not really. I like playing stronger opponents because there are no expectations whether you beat them or draw them or lose. And okay, I saw this guy was playing e4. Then he played d4. After e4 and when I go c5, he played knight c3 and knight f3. He also, I think, played c3, excuse me. He also after d4 played various different stuff, so I realized that there was no point of preparing for a game, and I just went with my knowledge that I had. He goes e4, I go knight f6 as per usual. I like playing knight f6 because it is flexible, and I'm also trying to play Grunfeld defense if they play c4. And now my opponent plays bishop to f4. And here I was a bit mad because you probably recognize this position from my previous Road to FM series, where I talked about this move order being particularly, how do I say, tricky. Because if I now go g6, they will actually play knight to c3, and they will transpose into Jobava London system. And here I would probably have to go d5 to stop any e4 nonsense. And now, while this position is equal, it is quite difficult for black to play. So I wanted to avoid that. And you know, if they play knight to f3, knight to c3 immediately, then after I go d5, I will put my bishop on this, somewhere on this side. I won't fianchetto it. So if they switch up the move order, now if I play g6, I've committed my bishop to this side. So that was annoying. And you know, I just decided that I will play d5 no matter what. But now he doesn't need to go knight to c3. Now he actually went knight to f3, and we've transposed into a normal London system, basically. But now, what is the difference? Usually against the normal London system, had he played like this, I mean had this happen, I usually go bishop to g7 and I go d6. And then I castle and I play c5. And I know this system pretty well. I think I know like first top, first 15 moves, I know the top engine line. So that was good. But here, because of the move order, I couldn't risk him going knight c3 and me not being prepared, so I just went with a London system. And that is exactly what happened. Here I immediately went e6. I didn't want to go for this line with bishop to f5. I knew that was equal as well, but with no preparation, I didn't want to get caught up in any traps like queen to b6 or c4, queen to b6. I just wanted a normal, peaceful game since I had no preparation. I played d6, he played d3, now I go c5, I try to attack. I didn't know this position, so from the start I started to think. I think here I already spent like 15 minutes. And now I went bishop to e7, I wanted to play peaceful chess. He went h3, and first of all, I was a bit confused by h3. I thought, why is he preventing something from going to g4? I mean, that wasn't even my plan. But after I castle, he goes bishop to d3, and now after b6, he put his knight into the center, and I'm getting there, but later on he played g4. That's why he played h3. But okay, knight to e5, I went bishop to b7. Here the Stockfish suggests this move to trade off this bishop. And I saw that, but I didn't like the fact that after he takes, he can play knight to c6, I thought. And after I move, he will take my bishop. And I didn't like the idea of not having bishops. So maybe that wouldn't even be his idea. But instead I went for bishop to g7, to b7. And now he developed his knight, I developed my knight. And he plays queen to c2. Now, this was, I liked when I see this move, because now I can later play c4. And now I dislocate this bishop. As you can see, it cannot go anywhere, so it has to go back. And now this queen is also dumb, because it doesn't really have any perspective of future play, and this bishop is weak. So basically I played a6 to stop any of queen to a4, to match that with b5. And when he went g4 to try and attack me, I now go c4 and I dislocate the bishop. And okay, now I know that London system is usually a peaceful opening, but in this position my opponent tries to attack me. So I immediately think in my head, I wasted... Okay, I wouldn't say wasted. I started to think here for a bit longer, like 20 minutes per se. So I dropped to like 45 minutes. So I was at half time mark. And I decided I can just take in the center, and when he recaptures, I go back with a knight. And that was the best plan, so my time usage was justified. And I came up with this plan with the idea to go f6, to try and activate my position, since I realized that his king, when he castles short, will be weak. So that's exactly what I did. He went knight to f3 to guard the center, and after I played f6, he went knight to d4. He tried to get in with the knight. Now I have to go knight to c5 to defend e6, as to not let him fork me. And now he castled. And as you can see, here I am a bit better, and I take in the center and I play bishop to d6, because I want to get hold of... I want to not get hold of the center, to gain control over the center. And now when he played this, what I should have done is played e5. And you might think that is pretty obvious, but at the time, even though this was my idea, after knight to h5, after knight to f5, I wasn't really sure what was going on. Because I thought that after something like queen to f6, apparently I have to go here. And I thought in this position I should be better. But I didn't like the fact that my center felt fragile, almost, like something like b3. And if something like this happens, maybe I would be good with g6 and he has to go back. But this center just felt almost fragile, and I didn't want that to happen. I wanted to prepare e5 better. So I went queen to d8, trying to rotate to h4 and start some kind of attack. But he was just in time. Now he played bishop to f3, and when I went queen to h4, again I didn't play e5. Then he played bishop to g2, and he's just in time to properly defend. Had he played something like this, there would be knight to d3, I think. And I start to put a lot of pressure on this f2 pawn, and I would be a bit better. Even though I drop this pawn, he cannot take, because then I take the bishop and it's GG. So, so he was fast enough, and he did play bishop to g2. He defended properly, And now I activate my other rook, since it's the last piece that is not joining the position and attack. Now he played f4, which is a very good move. Now I can't really break with e5, and that's what cost me the advantage. You know, because if I can break through in the center, his position will remain solid, and this is a weakness. That's why I want to go e5 to kind of isolate that weakness and play against it. Now I went back with the queen because it had no more purpose on h4, and now he went back with the knight, trying to rotate to e5. And now I went knight to d3 because I was trying to counter that with takes, and queen to here, trying double attacking this pawn, and I believe I would win like this one. So yeah, but that did not happen in this position. My opponent played a brilliant rook sacrifice, and now when I take with the pawn, they recapture, and their point was to get this very strong knight to e5, and I would not have a counter to that piece. Like usually when I had knight, when I still had the knight, I could always try to counter it either from d3 or from d7. But now there is nothing that. And in this position where I jumped here, I thought that maybe he would sacrifice, and I knew that if I was in his position, that I would sacrifice the rook as well. But I didn't mind that, since I thought this position, right, it's not the dream position, but I still have the two rooks, and my center is not that bad. So I thought I wasn't really mad or sad because I got in this position. I felt pretty good. And now I go bishop to c6, and I try to line up this cure. He moves the rook out of the way, and now I went queen to c5. And this was actually a pretty tricky move, because the point was to pin this pawn so I can take rook to f4. And my opponent actually missed it. He went b3, so I took on f4. And now there is this line that computer suggests, knight to g5. I have to go probably g6 to defend, and b4 as to attack my queen, and if my queen moves, he will take the rook. So now I would have to go queen to c4, and they go queen to d2, and when I drop back to f6, they go bishop to f1, so I would have to sacrifice my rook for the bishop, and then they take with the rook, and I had to give up back the exchange, and now my bishop is apparently bad. I mean, not apparently, it is bad. So they would be better in this position had they found all of that. And make no mistake, I saw b4, I calculated that, but I thought queen to c4, and I offer a queen trade. He does not have time to capture the rook, because I capture the queen, and if they take like this, I take with the rook. And my opponent missed that fact, crazy line, and in the end they have bishop to f1, and I have to sacrifice my rook. They just went king to h2 and then step away from this pin. But now I go back with a rook. They attack my rook, so I go rook to f5. And now their sacrifice shows as not good, because with this pawn lacking on f4, e5 square is not protected anymore, and I have a pretty clear counterplay that is incoming. Now when he plays h4 to defend, I go queen to d6 check, and now I actually set up a pretty nasty threat. You might think king to g1 would be a good retreating move, but no. Now I would sacrifice the rook, and when he takes, I would go queen to g3 check. If he moves in the corner, I will take his rook, and if he protects his rook, I take the bishop, and I'm simply up a piece, and probably checkmating him very soon. So he started to really think here. I was down to maybe 6 minutes in this position, and he had 25 about. And the position in match was very intense. So we are fighting for the first place, of course, and at the time we were still first. And this club was our strongest opponent yet to come, because we have already beaten everyone who was strong. And I mean, I should not say that. They're still good clubs, but like the strongest clubs we have already beaten. So if we beat this club, we will be in a clear first place. But in this position, all of the other games were done except my game and the game of people next to me, basically. And the score of the match was 2-2, so it was tied. And it is best of, I mean, it is first who reaches 3.5 points, first team who reaches that will win, because they have over the 50%. So it was pretty intense. And I saw the guy next to me was losing from my club. So if he loses, the score will be 3 for them and 2 for us. So I basically have to win this game just to cause a tie between us, and we were supposed to get a win. So that was unfortunate. And my opponent in this position did not play king to g1. He instead went king to h1, which is better, because now this sacrifice doesn't really work. And I go queen to g3, and I set up this sacrifice of our rook. And I also threaten like this, and I in the future after this sacrifice threaten to win the rook. So that was a pretty nice move. He goes rook to f1, defends the rook, defends the knight, and now I go rook to f8. I put even more pressure on the knight, so he has to defend again, and now I go d4. I break through in the center to open up my light square bishop. And now if you count, I have one attacker, 2, 3, 4, and he has 1, 2, 3 defenders. So I'm ready to capture this knight. And now he plays e4 to block my bishop, but I don't care. I go rook to f4. Now I attack this pawn and this pawn. And my opponent was really troubled here. I still had about 5 minutes left, maybe 4 in this position. And you always get 30 seconds increment after playing a move. So I wasn't really on edge, but it's a stressful position. And now my opponent started to think for a long time, and he went knight to h2. And now I went rook to f2 to try and checkmate him. And he just took, and after I take, he went queen to g4. And now, in this position, I had 3 minutes left on the clock. And remember, I have to win this game. He offered me a queen trade, which if I accept, then he takes with a knight. And after I take on a2, you know, he takes in the center, and for sure this position is winning. But they have a knight, and they have this nice center. So, you know, in a must-win position, they have created enough counterplay in this position, weirdly enough, that I would have to be on my toes until the end. So instead, I try to calculate rook takes g2. Right, because if they take the queen, I take like this, and I am up a full rook. But I couldn't calculate this line because after queen to e6, I have to go king to f8. And now when they check me again... Oh. I can take with the queen. Oh, I totally missed that. I thought after they take here, I go here, and that they had this check, which was very annoying because then they have these side checks. So they only check would be queen to f5, and I go king to e7, and there are no more checks. Oof. Yeah, I totally missed that, not gonna lie. I totally missed that. And now after this, there is only move knight to f3, and I probably just move my rook out of the way, and there are just too many checkmates incoming, and I win easily. So in the time trouble, I tried to calculate that, but I couldn't, and with 1 minute on the clock, I decided to go for this line. I take the queen, and when they take, I take on g2. I try to simplify this endgame. And now when they take, I tried to grab this pawn like this, but I took knight to e3, and they are defending. But apparently they are not. I can still go c2. And when they take with the knight, I in the end fork them. So I missed that again with 1 minute on a clock in must-win situation. I missed that, and I first played this. So I messed up my move order. And suddenly they go here, and I thought after I take, if they go here, I have this nice move bishop to f3. And I attack the knight and the king, and when they take, I promote whatever, no matter what he does. But I have missed that they can play king to e1 instead. And now they threaten to go this way, and if they go like this, they will go king to here, and they defend promotion. So I was upset with myself because I kind of messed up the position. Now, make no mistake, this is still a winning endgame. I'm up 2 pawns, and I have bishop against knight, and this pawn is very close to promoting. So I try to calm down, and I still had 1 minute left on the clock. So I had to make moves pretty fast. I go king to f7, I go king to e7, and now I try to get in with the king. They gave me just this check, I go still forward, and now I kick away the knight. They go back, I go forward with the king, and I attack the knight now. Now, if they let me take the knight in all of the pawn endings, I would just be up 2 pawns, and that would be easily winning. So he won't let me take his knight. Now I go bishop to e2, I try to prevent some checks, but now they have king to c2. And suddenly my king is stuck on this square, guarding this pawn, and they will play knight to here and take this pawn. So I here went king to a3, I said I need to let this pawn go and try to get these 2 pawns. And when they took, I now go b4 check as to force their king to go back. And now when they go back, I drop with my bishop, and on the next move I win this a2 pawn. And my game plan is pretty simple. I'm trying to take this pawn and push my pawns up the board. I don't care about this side of the board. And now they went knight to c5. So attacking this pawn, right? So I go a5. And in this position, actually, my opponent resigned the game. Now, in this current position, I still had 1 minute on the clock, so I had to play very fast. And the board next to me had a drawing position. Like it was checkmate no matter what they do. And they only had a queen left. But what they had not realized if they sacrifice the queen for free, and if the other guy takes, then it's stalemate. And our guy resigned in the position where they had stalemate to come. So everybody got upset at him, and then the score became 3-2, and I had to win in order to tie the match. And my opponent in this position realized that he is very much losing, and with their guy winning, he just resigned the game. He didn't wanna play it out no more. And as a team, we have drawn this game. But how this could have continued and what I anticipated, white could have gone knight to b7, which is the best continuation, and now I would play a5. And when they take, I would go b3. And as you can see, I have created this red carpet for the pawn. If the knight tries to draw back, I would push b2. And now they go knight to e4, and I would probably just promote. Wait, no. I wouldn't promote. I had in mind bishop to here, and when they check me, I just go back. And now they play a5, I promote to a queen, and they take, I take. And in this position I would probably up a bishop, and I have this pawn. Sure, this pawn looks scary, but I will go back and catch it somehow, defend this pawn, and I would win the game pretty easily. And with that win and all the current other wins, we will probably cross the 1900 mark. So we are getting even closer. Yeah, but thank you for watching. That's it in this position. Okay, what am I talking? Not in this position for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, drop a like. It really does help with YouTube algorithm. And if you want to see more content like that, subscribe. When we are closing in on 1,000 mark, and when we do, I will make a 1,000 subscribers special tournament. So if you want more info about that, join my Discord. But that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.